You know, what I say is like butterflies are for teenagers and, you know, love and partnership are for grown-ups.
Yep. What's so interesting and curious to me is we all cross paths with so many fascinating, smart, successful, talented people. What I'm curious about is why are we attracted to one person over another?
Well, I'm not going to give you the whole answer, but I am going to self-reveal a little bit.
Okay.
When my future husband walked in, he was introduced through a blind date, and he came down the hall in the dorm where I lived. Inside of me, a voice said, "You're not going to believe this, Barbara, but you're going to marry him."
Oh, wow.
Oh my goodness.
Now, that was after a number of years of dating many people. What I see happening with people is that you can fix up someone with someone who you think will be a perfect match.
Right.
But if there isn't some sort of biological trigger, which I know Helen will talk about, that must go back to memories, to smells, to feelings, to atmospheric tones of voice, all sorts of things, it's not going to be a match.
Yeah, I was going to say pheromones. I mean, there's probably a lot to that. But yeah, I would love to hear, Helen, you researched this extensively.
Well, first of all, we do tend to fall in love with somebody from the same socioeconomic background, same general level of intelligence, same general level of good looks, same religious and social values, same reproductive goals. But within that, you know, you can walk into a room, just like Barbara said, and everybody is from your background and level of intelligence and good looks, and you don't fall in love with all of them.
Right.
So I wanted to find out, is there chemistry? People will say, we had chemistry. And by the way, over 60% of men and women in America have experienced what you experienced, that love at first sight. And I think it's because he fit within what we call your love map, within a general constellation of traits that you could almost immediately see. But anyway, I wanted to know, when people say we have chemistry, what does that mean? And I've gone through a lot of the biological literature, and I think we've evolved 4 very broad styles of thinking and behaving, linked with the dopamine, serotonin, testosterone, and estrogen system. And as it turns out, and I think you're absolutely correct about this, the people who are very expressive of the dopamine system tend to be energetic, creative, spontaneous, rather unpredictable, novelty-seeking, risk-taking, mentally flexible. They go for people like themselves. They want somebody who's just going to read Shakespeare with them, or go skydiving with them, or go to the theater with them. They need that energy. People who are very traditional, expressive of the serotonin system, they tend to be they want traditional. Traditional wants traditional. People who are meticulous, orderly, dutiful, often more religious, follow the rules, respect authority, cautious but not fearful, traditional, they go for people like themselves. In those cases, similarity attracts. In the other two, opposites attract. The high testosterone goes for the high estrogen, and vice versa. You know, it's called mate choice. A lot of evolutionary psychologists, and certainly I study this stuff, and all these underlying patterns that make a good relationship.
I think attraction doesn't necessarily at all relate to good partnership, to solid partnership.
You're always looking for the bad guy or whatever, or the bad boy or whatever.
Yeah. So the women.
That's a really good point too, because I only know about initial attraction.
Yeah, it's just like, right? That kind of like, you know, what I say is like butterflies are for teenagers and, you know, love and partnership are for grown-ups.
Yep.
So all those biological factors, what, you know, that bring us together, because like I said, my husband and I are like that. But then you have to take it a step further. Just like, you know, you have to sort of like go, okay, that's what I'm feeling, sort of as a natural response to this person. But what I do is I support my women in learning tools. I have what I call a is he hot or is he hubby test. And it's like, okay, you're feeling hot over this guy, great. But you can't stop there. You have to go the next step and say, okay, what else about him do I like? And does he have my must-haves? And if the answer is no, he's only hot. Well, if charismatic is hot, same thing. And if that's all he has, then my advice for them is leave, run, get away from him, because he's not going to be a good match for you, but you're going to be really attracted, highly attracted.
Well, I encourage my clients I have a lot of young women dating women single, and they fall into the chemistry trap. And I encourage them to realize that this isn't to make a decision about their life. I mean, they need to decide if they want to have sex and all that it implies, then they can, and we discuss it. There's nothing inherently wrong with that if that's what they want. But then part of the discussion is, what are your goals? How do you see yourself for the future? And if you want to have a relationship, which is what you said you want, then how does this square with your goal? The idea of having intimacy before bed. And that's holding hands, walking in the park, having conversations, building up that sense of closeness. Alternatively, you could sleep with somebody and get it, all that of the 40%. But the idea that you want to build you want to have an anticipation to build on rather than moving forward.
So it sounds like the reason that we are attracted to one person and not another has many biological factors and sociological and other things, but the key is to control those biological impulses so we're able to make good decisions for the long run, really taking a holistic view of the person and what we all really want in terms of a long-term partner.